So the day for us really begins the previous evening. So Shabbat begins on Friday night and continues all along Saturday until sunset of Saturday. Okay. So as a matter of introduction, I would like to show you what are the elements of a Shabbat evening celebration. Okay. So the beginning of Shabbat, the time of the beginning of Shabbat really varies according to the time of the year. So on winter, for example, during the winter, it's going to start earlier because days are shorter. And in the summer, it's going to start later. Why? Because days are longer. So what we do is, and you're going to see it in a minute, the way to mark the beginning of a Shabbat celebration in the evening is we light 2 candles. So how do we start the Shabbat celebration on a regular Friday night? So you can see here at sundown, we light 2 candles, and that symbolizes the transition from an ordinary day, an ordinary time of the week, to a sacred time of Shabbat. Now, we light the candles 18 minutes before sundown. Why is that? Because at sundown, specifically sundown, that's the time when Shabbat begins. So the sages said, let's, build sort of a fence around the beginning of Shabbat, and we're going to give you 18 minutes, which is symbolized by the word chai. By the way, let me write it here so you can have it. So, you may know that each Hebrew letter has its numerical value. According to the Kabbalah, each Hebrew letter has a number attached to it. The word chai, I wrote it here, which means life, is 18. So the het, is the letter here, is 8, and the yud is 10. So 18 minutes, among many other uses that we give it to number 18, and the word chai in Judaism is also a way to express that Shabbat gives us a renewed life. It gives us a renewed way to value our time for the next 24 hours of Shabbat. How many candles shall be lit on Friday evening before Shabbat starts? That's why I prepared this slide for you. And this is from the Shulchan Aruch, just a quick introduction to this text. The Shulchan Aruch is the normative text in Judaism. It's usually accepted as one of the most important halachic texts, meaning a text that contains all the mitzvot and the rules that a Jew should follow in his or her life. And it's, very specific about different situations in life. And you can see here, I took this from the part in the section that speaks about Shabbat. So it says here, and it's interesting to see that it includes both traditions. It includes the Ashkenazic tradition, and it also includes the Sephardic tradition. So the Sephardic tradition was written by Yosef Karo, and then the Ashkenazic tradition, it's called the Ramah, was written by Moshe Isserles. So sometimes they are very similar, the practices of the Ashkenazic and the Sephardic Jews. Sometimes they're different. So in this particular case, they are very similar. So let me read it for you so you can have a sense of how Judaism understands this idea of lighting candles before Shabbat. So it says, one should take care to make a beautiful candle lamp, and there are those who place 2 wicks in this lamp, or in this case, 2 candles, with the intent that one light is for one version of the 10 commandments, remember, Zachor, and the other for the command of the 10 commandments, Shamor. So let me explain this. So there are 2 versions, one in the book of Exodus, the other one in the book of Deuteronomy, and they begin with a different word. So the version from Exodus begins with Zachor, remember. The version from Deuteronomy, so remember the day of Shabbat, the version from Deuteronomy uses the word observe. Observe the Shabbat to make it holy. So I'm not going to get into the details now, but to remember those times, those 2 times that the Shabbat is mentioned in the Ten Commandments is that we light 2 candles. For the 2 times that Shabbat is mentioned in the Ten Commandments. So that's the Sephardic part. And then when you see here Ramah, this is the Ashkenazic part or, addition to the Shulchan Aruch. It says, and this is a beautiful tradition, one may add and light 3 or 4 candles, and such is our custom. So the idea is the more that you add lights to the room, the more that you add light to the place where you will be eating, it's better, right? So you're going to have more light to enjoy Shabbat. There is another tradition that I like it very much, and is that women would light 1 candle for each child at home. So for example, I have 4 children. So my wife, on Friday evening, she would light 6 candles. So 2, as it's commanded here, for the 2 times that the Shabbat is remembered in the 10 Commandments. So 2 lights, and then 1 additional candle for each one of our kids. Okay? So there are different traditions, but basically you have to light at least 1 candle. That would be the basic command.
What Bible do you read? And how do you know it's the right one?
There's only one version of the Bible, right?
It might surprise you to learn that Bible translations led to many versions of Holy Scripture. Long ago, translators interpreted the Hebrew Bible, ensuring it would be enjoyed in many languages. But when they encountered Hebrew words they didn't understand, translators relied on their individual cultural context and used different words with different meanings unrelated to the original ones. This led to Bible versions that lacked the full, beautiful, original explanations becoming part of our history. That's why when you join our online classes, you'll get back to the source of the original Hebrew Bible to uncover hidden meanings.
Get back to the source. Join our online course today, where the treasures of the authentic Bible await you.
Click on the link and register to start your biblical experience.